Earlier this week, we got the December Pixel feature drop, which I very quickly downloaded and installed. And I think I made a video about this as well, if I'm remembering correctly. But just now, we got something perhaps even cooler than that, because what we have is the Android 13 QPR2. That stands for Quarterly Platform Release 2. What this is basically a beta for upcoming releases for Android 13. And if you're running a more modern Google Pixel device, you can jump in and take part in this beta yourself. Very, very simple to do this. You have to opt in on their website and you're good to go. So in this video, we're going to look at some of the coolest features in this QPR number 2. So let's start off with sort of a small change to the UI. Whenever you pull down your notification shade, you'll see a little clock up there. And before, when you pulled it all the way down, that clock would stay that exact same size. Now that clock is getting much bigger. And actually, I think this is a pretty nice little change. It's nothing huge, right? Like, it's not like a world-altering change. But I do think that it is a nice visual change compared to what we had before. If we dive into our settings and we go into, I believe it is under sound and vibration, you should see spatial audio. And this is another interesting one because I believe we've seen this kind of pop up and come and go, but it is back in this build now. If you have a set of earbuds that are compatible with spatial audio, that is going to be something that you can turn on. I've seen on some tweets from some people that they are seeing the ring and notification volumes be split into two separate sliders. I am not seeing that, but I would love to see that. That should, in fact, be just the default behavior for every phone on planet Earth. I don't have a way to necessarily demo this one directly, but apparently on the Pixel 6 Pro, you are gaining the ability to change your resolution from 1080p to 1440p, or I should say this the other way around, from 1440p down to 1080p, like you already could on the Pixel 7 Pro, which is what we're looking at here. So this next part is really, really interesting, but unfortunately, I lack the know-how to really be able to show this to you properly. So we're turning to a website called blog.esper.io, and they do a really great job here of breaking this particular new feature down. The revival of Android's desktop mode. Now, for those who are uninitiated, for a really long time, since Android 10, you've been able to go into your developer options, which I'll show you here very quickly, and you've been able to scroll all the way down here to the bottom-ish. I think I might have gone, there we go. And you've been able to turn on forced desktop mode. You might have actually also had to turn on freeform windows and force activities to be resizable, but I may be wrong about that. I didn't really ever play with this stuff that much because the desktop mode was not very good. But basically, when you then plugged your phone into an external monitor, you could get this weird kind of not so great desktop mode on your Android device. Think DeX for Samsung, but like way, way, way worse. And for a really long time, that's just kind of how it sat. It sat there like that, and other OEMs would come in and improve it and do their thing with it, like Motorola, like Samsung. But the basic Android, the stock version of it, was pretty much not useful for very much. It just wasn't very good at all, and it's just sat there undeveloped. Well, that apparently might be about to change, because there are some new changes that he said are hidden behind a couple of flags. And once you tweak these things, you can get a quick settings developer tile. Basically, in your developer options, there is an option to look at these like special quick settings. And apparently, if you do a few things, if you're smart enough to know what on earth he's talking about, you'll get one for enabling desktop mode. And then from there, what you get is a new and hopefully somewhat improved version of the desktop mode. Now you can see here, it's actually running on the Pixel device itself, right? This is not being done on an external monitor. In fact, for whatever reason, the Pixels, when you plug them into USB-C to HDMI cable, it just doesn't work that way. You can't do that for whatever reason. So, weird decision by Google. So he's running it natively, like just on the device itself. And you can see you have the taskbar down here, and then an app drawer that's popping up over on one side, which now does show a little search box up there. I guess that was a new thing added to it as well. So definite work being done here. You may have also noticed this little pin icon down here. Apparently, whenever you click on that, it launches some sort of Google Keep Drawing shortcut straight from the taskbar. That is a pretty interesting feature. So this is pretty cool. One way to exit desktop mode would be to drag a freeform task to the status bar area at the top of the screen. Almost kind of reminds me like Windows 11, where you can drag an app to the top and it will snap and open up. Kind of sounds similar to that. He says, I'm not aware of any other drag gestures that have been implemented, but seeing as desktop mode is clearly a work in progress, you might see more improvements added in the QPR2. This is very, very cool. Desktop mode should be a pretty big focus for Google going forward, as they're, definitely focusing on larger screens. Well, desktop mode makes a lot of sense there as well. Something else we've talked about here on this channel is the fact that you can scroll back in developer options again, by the way. You can scroll down, you can look for smallest width, and you can change that to, I believe 600 is the limit. And then what do you have down there but the taskbar, which has been enabled for large screen devices. Of course, I'm not on a large screen device, but we've essentially, what have we done? We have tricked the thing into thinking that it is a large screen device. And now we can drag apps from that taskbar up. And guess what, guys? Look at that picture down there. Look at the picture that it shows. That's the Pixel tablet, okay? Like, that's pretty cool. It just straight up shows you, is that new? Have I reported on this? That's the Pixel Fold right there that it's showing us. That's pretty cool. But anyways, you can drag apps from the bottom up here and split screen things and do all kinds of cool stuff like that. But of course, the downside here is that you've shrunk the DPI and the text is going to be like look how small that is. Super duper duper small. So that's not necessarily a good thing. But apparently there is some change coming on that front. He says here, in this version of Android, there's a new flag explicitly for phones that hides the standard navbar window in favor of the taskbar. He was not able to get this functioning, but imagine a future where you could have that really cool taskbar on a phone and it not have to shrink all your text way down. And guys, there are actually a few more. How about changes to the screen recorder? How about a more advanced VPN? What I'm going to do is I'm going to link to this blog post in the comments, rather the description, maybe both, down below. So please do go click on that and go give them a hit for the really exceptional work that they've done here. This person has kind of just popped up on my radar to some degree. I've seen them on Twitter, but this is really, really good stuff that they've done here. Really, really helpful work. So go give them a click to reward them for that. Guys, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.